This podcast will focus on subject-verb agreement, tricky subjects, and prepositional phrases. We all learned about subjects and verbs back in elementary school. Likely you know that plural subjects must have plural verbs, just as singular subjects must have singular verbs. Confusion often comes, however, when students begin forming more complex sentences and separate the subject and verb with prepositional phrases. Consider the following sentence. Each of the students have homework to complete. Although the plural have agrees with the noun students, the subject-verb agreement here is incorrect. Students is the object of the prepositional phrase, of the students, and cannot be the subject. Instead, each is the subject of the sentence and always singular. Thus, the correct verb form for this sentence would be has. Each of the students has homework to complete. That one was pretty easy to recognize. However, the further the subject is from the verb, the more difficult it can be to determine. For instance, one of the doctors in the operating room with the patients asked that you stay outside. In this sentence, the verb is separated from its subject by three prepositional phrases: of the doctors, in the operating room, and with the patient. The actual subject of the sentence is the singular one, which requires the singular verb asks. You should avoid simplifying the sentence as your solution to the subject-verb agreement problem. Your professor will appreciate the occasional, more complex structure. Instead, you should identify and then ignore any prepositional phrases that come before the verb. Ignoring the prepositional phrases in the above sentence would give us, one asked that you stay outside. From what you learned back in elementary school, along with your own intuition as a speaker of English, you can easily recognize this agreement as incorrect. It's important to remember when working on subject-verb agreement that singular pronouns, no matter their antecedents, are always considered singular. These include any, anybody, anyone, every, everybody, everyone, no one, nobody, none, something, somebody, each, either, and neither. If any of these words functions as the subject of your sentence, you need a singular verb for agreement. Finally, there are a few points to remember when working on subject-verb agreement. Microsoft Word will often look to the noun closest to the verb for agreement. Also, nouns and prepositional phrases cannot serve as the subject of your sentence. So when in doubt, you should ignore the prepositional phrases and trust your own intuition.